And I think we're live. I think we could just be live. I've just got that funny feeling that we may be live. Who's this? Yes, Essential Talent is live now. So we're beaming out across the world, my friends. For those of you that watched my debut singing performance last night, it was life-changing for me. I have decided, after singing that song and having such amazing feedback, that I'll be selling my house and I will be becoming a professional musician. So thank you to everybody for that encouragement. That has really made me just completely change my life. And so I'll be hitting the road once we're, clearly allowed to be out of isolation. And I look forward to all these amazing gigs. No, that was a bit of fun. And I think we. Oh, hello from Papa. So Papa is my friend Rajesh, and he owns the local service station. And quite a few of us call him Papa. He's a great guy. So welcome. Look, one of the things, and now Banjo's decided to jump up on my knee. One of the things that is going to be a big issue, and it's going to cause a lot of issues now and on the other side of this, when we're out of isolation, is actually isolation itself and the effect that it's had on people. Now, this isn't me just, pulling this out of the sky. This is science. This is the truth. This is what happens. And you may be at home and you might have your wife and your kids, and you might still be suffering from isolation and the effects on it, or from it, sorry. I've got a really good friend in Australia who's really battling at the moment. He's got 3 kids. He's happily married. He's got an awesome job, but he feels isolated. He's used to being around a lot of people, and it's really having an effect on his mental health. And research shows that that's what happens. Now, there'll be many of you that will have no issue with it. Well, many might be a stretch, actually. But there'll be a few of you that'll go, this is fantastic. I'm just absolutely loving this. Well, don't feel isolated at all. It's great. But there'll be many of you that will now just be starting to feel just a little bit off. And so I've done a bit of reading on this subject, and I thought I would share some of it with you. I'm not driving you to a website. I don't want any money. I'm just going to share some ideas, because why not? First of all, it's totally normal to feel just a little bit off through this time, because it is really unusual. Let me just tell you very briefly before I get into the points of my story, which I think I've touched on before. I've always worked with lots of people around me, and I've had management positions where I've had sort of up to 30 people working with me. High energy, very creative, fast. And about 4 years ago, that came to an abrupt end, and I found myself working at home alone. And to begin with, it's fantastic. You can hear the dog sniffing. To begin with, it's absolutely fantastic. You go, this is great. And then it can get really challenging. And I've actually struggled with it in different patches over the years. And there are some things that you can do that are going to sort of help you through this period. And it's not about feeling sorry for yourself or anything like that. This is actually just, sorry, I'm just going to bring up something that's going to help us here. This is actually just, looking after yourself. And I've got a long way to go. Look at me, the bloody chubby face. But I'm reading enough about it, learning enough about it, to at least give myself, fighting chance, and that's what we want, right? So let's go through a few things that could help you in this period if you're just starting to go, shit, this is getting a little bit tough. I really just want to be back working in a group with people, because a lot of us won't be doing that for quite some time. A lot of us won't be. So here's the first thing. You want to keep to a schedule, or create a schedule at home. I'm sorry, that's Banjo eating something. I'm sorry, I can't really help that. You want to try and create a schedule. You want to get some kind of normalcy. Is that a word? A normal routine happening in your day, and create those benchmarks, and you'll start to feel good as you tick them off, right? So get a schedule together, and because it is crazy and it is different, but you still need routine and you still need some kind of schedule, and that will help you. It could be, I'm getting up at this time, I'm going to take the dog for a walk at this time, and then I'm going to come back and I'm going to do this, and then I'm going to do this, and then I'm going to do a little bit of meditation if you want to give that a go. Or then this is the time that I'm going to do my housework, and then that's done, and then I'm going to sit down and do this project at this time. Get some routine happening, because if you don't have routine, if you don't have a schedule, what happens in isolation is that your mind drifts, and you will start to think about all the shit things that could possibly happen, and God, this isn't normal, and what's going to happen down the track, and your imagination will run away on you. So it's really important to keep to a schedule, okay? The second thing is stay up with the news, because there was a study done in 2020 and it makes sense, that if you're informed, there is less anxiety. Okay, so if you actually know, hey, today there were 9 more cases, that's great. You know what's happening. Maybe tune in a couple of times during the day, but that's it. So there's a balance. There's a balance between being informed and staying up with the news, so that minimizes anxiety. But if you go to the extreme, and I can be guilty of this because I love watching the cable news. I love being informed. I go to the extreme, and then all of a sudden it's like, I wonder why I'm worrying about stuff. You've got to be disciplined. So there's a balance there. Stay active. I've struggled with this all my life. So I go through different stages, and I was going through a really good stage of personal training at Les Mills, and then of course the gym stopped, and it was something I was really enjoying, so I was doing it with my eldest son as well, and we're getting into it, and it was great. So now I am making sure that I'm going for a walk for an hour each morning. That's Banjo urinating in my lounge. How embarrassing. So stay active, obviously, goes without saying. Do something meaningful. Do something meaningful in your life. And there are lots of things. I'm trying to think of an example. I mean, everybody wants to feel like they're contributing to society in some way. Oh no, he actually urinated out in the hallway. Oh, good boy. Now people have left because they don't want to hear that. But yeah, all of us want to feel like we belong and that our life has importance. So yeah, work on doing something meaningful. Connect with others. That makes sense. Find sources of comfort. Okay, find things that that you like. It could be just taking a hot bath. It could be cooking healthy food. It could be watching the Afterlife 2, sitting down and doing that tonight. It could be lighting scented candles. It could be whatever. Find things that actually bring you a bit of joy. That leads into create something. Once again, you might want to try doing some art. You might want to try and write a song. I wrote a song the other day, and I've sent it to a friend because I'm not a musician, as you would have clearly discovered last night. And I've sent it off. I said, "Do you mind trying to put this to music? You might know a musician. Well, and you might have always wanted to write a song. Why don't you write one? Seriously, why don't you just do it? Create something and work on it for a couple of hours, and then send it off." And there are lots of there are lots of online courses and different things that you can do as well. You could do some online course that you've always wanted to do, and they're so bloody cheap these days. Seriously. You know, there's that masterclass, I think it's called, which is good. That's slightly more expensive. But then there is, I think it's creativelive.com, and that you can do a really good course for like $20 American, and it's hours and hours of video, and it's really good quality stuff. It's really good. So you could do that. Distract yourself. Now, that doesn't necessarily mean getting whipped cream and putting it in your mouth and throwing hundreds of thousands of dollars on it. Hundreds of thousands of dollars, hundreds and thousands on it. You don't need to do that, but you're distracting yourself, okay, on different stuff. And being in the present, just worry about things that you can control now. I'll give you an example. I haven't told anyone this. I've told a couple of people. Just before, this is unbelievable, just before lockdown, my car broke down. And I thought that it was just going to be a basic repair job. I'm going to let Banjo out 1 second. Go out then. Out you go. Go and find whatever you're doing. Sorry about that. Yeah, so my bloody car broke down, and I've only had it for a few years. And I was like, okay, this is great. How much is this going to cost me? And they turned around and they said, you can't fix this car. This car is stuffed. The best that you can do is probably get $1,500 for the parts. And I'm like, you're friggin' kidding me. But you know what? I've been so busy that I haven't even been worrying about that. Mike Chun has joined in. Hello, Mike Chun, you amazing man. I think I'm going to talk to you next week if you've got some time, or this week. Haven't talked to you for ages, and you're such a positive force in this country. You're amazing. So yes, I might talk to Mike Chun this week. I'm going to try and track him down. So distract yourself. And the other thing is plan for the future. You know, you can do that. Yes, okay, there might not be overseas travel and all that kind of thing, but for a while, but you can still plan. You can still plan for different things that you'd like to do, which once again just keeps you focused on other stuff. So let's just recap, because here's the thing. Isolation can actually be as harmful, and this is a fact, as harmful as smoking or obesity. So you don't want to get sick from this. You need to, and don't think, hey, just, I've got lots of people around me that's what they mean by isolation. I think isolation is just feeling that thing of, I just don't feel right. I'm used to being around a lot of people and I just don't feel right. So let's go through. We're going to keep a schedule. We're going to stay up with the news, but we're not going to overcook it. We're going to stay active. We're going to do something meaningful. We're going to connect with others, a FaceTime call or whatever it is. Find sources of comfort throughout your day. Could be lighting candles, could be creating something. You're going to distract yourself. You're going to plan for the future. And here's a good one. Self-compassion. You're going to look after yourself, and also you're going to look for ways of being compassionate to others, and that's going to make you feel good as well. Hope you got something out of this. Peace. Talk to you later. Bye.